Hello, and welcome to the second episode of everyone's favorite television broadcast, Life's Little Chroments. Again, this continues to be a program of whatever I decide it to be, and hopefully you're okay with that. If you're not... Anyways, this episode will be about the effects channel and FX routing and some weird things about it that maybe you don't understand if you have a Syntakt. I figured out some things through a lot of practice today that I didn't understand even from looking through the manual. So maybe this will have some tips for you that you might find helpful. The first thing is that you can use the FX channel in mute mode to mute the effects sequencer, which only mutes things that are sequenced, not the filter or the overdrive. They stay on. So, for example, this is going without the FX. Turn it on now, you can hear the ducking has started, because the ducking is programmed to follow my kick. Just turn that off for a sec. So you can see I just have the effects channel is just programmed 4 on the floor, same as my kick. It's just 4 on the floor. So I mean that could be anything, but that's what I have it set to for this, and it's fairly common, obviously. But the thing is that sometimes you don't want that to continue going. So if so it's on right now. So it's on right now, but then if I turn off the kick, it's still ducking, even though there's no kick, which is an effect that you might like and sometimes is useful. But if you want to turn it off, mute the effects track in mute mode. It's the only way to mute it, as far as I know, in mute mode. And then that will turn off the sequencer. But things like the filter, so we're in effects mode right now. Let's turn the filter on. So the filter is still going even though the sequencer is done, and it also works for the overdrive. So that's a way to selectively turn off some parts of the effects channel, which is pretty useful to me. So I've already started with my first song, getting into the habit of when I'm in muting, if I want the kick to come on and off, I just press them both at the same time, and it does that for me. If you are in mute mode, if you hit track and then FX, it lets you modify the effects. So that's how you get into that still, even if you're in mute mode. So if you're always in mute mode, like lots of people are, then that's how you can still get there. Anyways, so which I wouldn't have thought of because it's not really a track button, so you don't really think to use it, and no other Elektron boxes have been like that, but this one is. Speaking of overdrive, one issue with the effects channel is that by default, when you patch things into, when you route things into the effects, they start with 1.00 overdrive, which actually does add a noticeable amount of overdrive to something. So if you're just planning on putting something through but you don't want overdrive, make sure when you're starting a new song that you turn that off, because by default it is at 12 o'clock and it does add overdrive automatically. When you're routing tracks, make sure that you don't forget to route the delay and reverb in there, unless you don't want them, because it sounds way better. Let's have them off right now. See, that sounds okay, but then with the delay and reverb through, it just makes everything sound way better, especially if you have like the filter going on here. So if you turn off the reverb and delay while you have the filter going, it's really noticeable, which is also a cool sound, but again, I really like that, just brings everything together. one quick tip here. This 13 here, there's actually a secret. If you press the 13th one, see, it doesn't look like it's for anything, but if you press that 100 times in 2 minutes, it actually unlocks a secret compressor within the Syntakt. So that's a little known fact. One last tip is that if you would like to turn everything on or off through the effects, don't forget that you can do your old pal Control All, and it will work for that. So we'll just turn everything off. So everything is currently not going through effects, and now everything, including the kick, is going through effects. You could lock that out by, if you didn't want that to happen with Control All, go into the kick and then parameter lock everything. But other than that, it's a pretty cool thing. You can pop it on and off if you have the effects set to be a certain cool thing, especially with an LFO. You can have it do all sorts of crazy stuff. Anyways, I'm probably mumbling, and this has been a long video, so I'm going to end it there. Hope you found this enjoyable or helpful or something or whatever. Okay, bye.